I think I better just keep walking. Running! Better start running! Running! Sprinting! Yes! I just gotta keep sprinting! Sitting. Bleeding.
Here, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Eli the Rebel here. I'm uploading this instead of YCL because I don't know what happened to our guy. I really don't know if I'm ever gonna battle my week 1 guy or not. I mean, I think it was just because, you know, IRL stuff. Like, I wasn't the only match, okay? Like, a lot of people have been doing IRL stuff to take care of, and so a lot of like games aren't played today. Like, my game isn't the only one. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know what the word on that is, so I'm just uploading this instead. It's like a week. It's pretty much like at least a week overdue. Like, I told myself I was gonna do this like last week and I never did, but we're here now. I'll just post it now because my YCL battle I don't think is happening anytime soon. But again, I gotta hear back from the commish what the word is on that. So I'm just gonna tell y'all what's popping here over at UGL. First off, before we begin, when we get to the slide, shout out to my boy KJ for you know, not only like accepting my application, but B, you know, my man just put something crazy together, tier list wise, which I'm gonna go over really quickly before we get into the picks and everything, because that's what y'all came for, right? Y'all came, y'all subscribed, y'all liked for the fire teams, right? But we gotta do some housekeeping stuff first. So tiers 1 and 2 are the equivalent of like S and A tiers, but KJ decided to split those tiers in half. So what that means is that there's going to be a tier 1A and a tier 1B. There's going to be a tier 2A and a tier 2B. Which is honestly, I've never seen that done before. I think it's really smart because because you're going to find yourself a lot of times where there's certain S tiers that could make a case for A, or some A tiers that could push for S status a lot of times in drafts. So KJ was just like, there's a lot of, you know, he felt like it was best for those 2 tiers in particular to be split in half. So that's gonna be affected points wise as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. So with those 4 picks, right, we also needed a tier 3, a tier 4, and a tier 5. So a B tier, a C tier, and a D tier, right? And then after that, we have 4 Mons extra. We have 323 points for 4 extra Mons. So that gives us a total of an 11 Mon roster, which is really cool. And the other really cool thing about this league, it's the first Wi-Fi league that we're going to be in without an items clause. Bless the heavens. I could put double lefties if I wanted to. I could put double band, double specs. Things like that. Like, it's so nice to be able to do that, because as I've been, you know, improving my team building skills, I find myself like, dang, I really need double leftovers this week, but I can't, so I have to pick a different item, like rely on a certain berry. I don't really like doing that, so having double lefties is really cool, especially. The only item they banned was bright powder. So no PDL Dunsparce for me, unfortunately. But I've been able to win games without bright powder before, so it's not the end of the world. I just find it a little sad because I like to have fun, and I like to have fun every now and then. So sad that I can't run bright powder, but you know, we'll live with that. But double lefties double items in general is just gonna be so good. Based on my building style. So without further ado, let's begin with the main core that I drafted. So it's a 16 coach league, so your boy ended up with the 16th overall pick. So I basically got 2 picks at the end of the draft, and we're gonna go over this actually tier by tier. So we're not going over, you know, round 1 and 2 together, round 3 and 4 together. Because I'm gonna tell y'all in the when I get to the free point section, right? I had things drafted initially, and then like I moved some pieces around, which I'll get to when we get to the free picks. But I've been wanting to draft this core for 4 or 5 different leagues now, and I finally get to do it here in UGL. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one of the most busted things known to mankind. Rillaboom Hawlucha. Okay. Where do I begin with this? What's the idea behind this core? Oh, Rillaboom has Grassy Surge. He also has offensive presence like Hawlucha. He can hold the Grassy Seed himself. He gets access to acrobatics. So SD Acro, like both of these guys can run SD Acro if they wanted to. Obviously, Rillaboom's pretty much signature move is Grassy Glide. No one talks about drum beating anymore. It gets really decent coverage. U-turn for pivoting, knockoff, drain punch, Darkest Lariat, high horsepower in the grassy terrain for the fire type. Its coverage is actually really slept on, and we talked about the acrobatics thing as we mentioned before. Covers the bug types, so covers the bug weakness. So Rillaboom by itself is really good. But then we have Hawlucha here right next to it. Hawlucha gets Unburdened, which means that once an item is consumed, you double your speed. It's already base 118 speed, so let's double that in the terrain. Let the seed pop off, and SD after an SD. Okay, like it pretty much. So I wouldn't say like Hawlucha wouldn't like 6-0 teams necessarily, because it needs to be positioned really well. It still takes some skill to do, but it's honestly like it's really fun. I find it really fun to do on ladder, and the fact that I'm gonna be able to do it in draft now is gonna be really nice. People in the chat we're sweating about this pick because apparently this core was drafted season 1, so they have to prep for this again, unfortunately. But this core is just so good on ladder. I really wanted to try it on draft, and it came back to me. I had 2 other cores that I was thinking of, but they both got sniped earlier, so it was fine. So this fell to me. So yeah, Lucha Boom is gonna be a problem. That's the identity of this team, pretty much. I'm not even gonna cap. We'll go to 2A, 2B right now. Like, spoiler alert, like, I don't think I've ever used any of these mons in draft. So everything, that's the beauty of this UGL draft, is that, like, every mon that you see here, I've never, like, had personal experience with it prior. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, like, using 11 brand new mons. Like, as I mentioned here, like, Rillaboom Hawlucha I've only tried on ladder. But ladder is like and draft are 2 very different things. So we'll see how this works. I expect Hawlucha to get a lot of kills. I expect Rillaboom to pivot out very easily with U-turn. But the real kill leader, according to what the other people in draft were telling me, was in the 2A spot, and then the 2B spot was obviously a really good compliment to my 2A. So 2A was Nidoking. Okay, everybody knows the drill, right? Life Orb, Sheer Force, right, is a problem. Okay, it gives me a Rocker, it gives me a T-Spiker, right? So there's your utility there. It actually gets I learned this in NDL finals, but like both Nidos get Sucker Punch. So there's your so it gets priority, believe it or not, which is kind of cool. So you could run some mixed stuff and have Sucker Punch for priority, I guess. But again, it's very self-explanatory. Nido King is just a sheer force mon. It gets crazy good coverage. It really thrives off grassy terrain because it, based on its typing, it's weak to itself. It's weak to ground itself, but in grassy terrain, like, you're having EQ damage, which leads to the 2B pick in Uxie. The thing with Uxie, it's 130 defense and SPDEF, and it's a levitate user. So if for some reason I need a switch in to other ground type moves such as Earth Power, Drill Run, High Horsepower, Uxie can do that for me. Provides rocks as well. Again, like I said before, I've never used Nido before. I know like my builder is like a big like Nido King guy, like that's his mascot, for God's sakes. So it'll be fun to like try it out myself for real. And then I mean, Uxie is part of the lake trio, so they always put in work in draft under the right circumstances. So yeah, so far I'm doing pretty well with my ground switch-ins, right? Because I have Rillaboom to have the damage of EQ, and then I have a Levitator, right? It's all great. Okay, now we're getting into the really slept on parts, the tier 3, 4, and 5 combination right here. So tier 3, at tier 3 we got Jellicent, right? So I got Jellicent round 4. Vaporeon looked really good in that tier as well, but I found myself like always drafting Vaporeon a little bit too much. I just love the gimmick of like Wish Flip Turn. It's just so good to flip turn out into an attacker and then get that Wish priority. It's so nice. But with Jellicent here, I also get the Ghost typing, which is nice, so I can run like Willow Hex with this. But the main reason we got Jellicent is the fact that Jelly is a Strength Sapper. I think Strength Sap is probably like easily a top 5 like recovery move alongside like Roost, Recover, Pain Split, right? Because Strength Sap lowers the target's attack. So like depending on how high your attack stat is, like basically the higher the opponent's attack stat is, the more health Jellicent's gonna get back. The Scalds will burn as well, things like that. I talked about Willow Hex and Strength Sap Scald. That's just a nasty set. That's just a nasty set right there. Oh dang, Jelly, don't do it to him like that. But yeah, unless you're running 0 IVs in attack, like there's nothing that really appreciates being Strength Sapped on. So I've wanted to draft Jellicent for the longest amount of time, and here it is at tier 3. I've had very good success with other Strength Sappers such as Galar Corsola and Vileplume. So yeah, we got our Strength Sapper and Jellicent right here, and it gives us the water typing, which is really good for our boy Colossal here. So Colossal with the rock and fire typing, it's gonna be quad weak to ground, but we have a couple switch-ins for that. We mitigate EQ with Rillaboom, as we mentioned before, and the Uxie Levitate. It's also quad weak to water, but Jellicent has water absorb. So it's really a really good team. So like Colossal is weak to a lot of things, but there are also things on the team that really help out Colossal get out of sticky situations, right? And it also gives us another Stealth Rocker, a Spiker, and a Rapid Spinner all in one package. So Colossal is very good. It gets Flame Body, it It gets flame body for if we need to burn something on site. It also gives us steam engine, so it not only gives us an immunity, but it gives us +6 speed. So Colossal can be low-key fast if you're not prepped for it. It's really good synergy. The Rillaboom like Colossal synergy is really good together. To be honest with you, Colossal covers for Rillaboom's fire weakness. Rillaboom covers Colossal's earthquake, things of that nature, right? And then tier 5, we went with Auto. I think like round 5 or 6, and at tier 5. So the thing is with Auto, always drafting a normal type is good. If there's a lot of good dragons running around this, not a lot of dragons, a lot of good ghosts. A lot of ghosts are running around this generation now with the lack of pursuit. So having a normal type to be immune to like Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, things like that is very, very good. Wish, it gets Heal Bell, and its ability 99% of the time is Regenerator. Look, man, the Alomomola didn't come back yet, so I thought, hey, well, why not get Auto? It's like the next best thing, right? 103 HP, 86 in both defenses. If you see this thing, like basically, if you don't have a fighting type to hit through this, like Auto could be a pain, right? I saw this in a match that I played in NDL, and it was putting in a lot of work against me, and because I did not bring my fighting type that week, and I was having difficult time to like hit through it. But now it's on my team here at part of the Filipino Ferrothorns, you know. And not did I mention Rillaboom Grassy Surge will give this thing, you know, leftovers plus leftovers itself as an item plus Regenerator. So this thing ain't dying anytime soon under grassy terrain, especially. But yeah, that's our tier 3, tier 4, tier 5s. Now we're getting into the free picks. So what happened was that I initially drafted some stuff, and then it turns out I had 20 extra free points left. So you're gonna see in the free picks that we were missing a Dragon Fairy Steel Core. So I think for the Mr. Irrelevant pick, which was like the last pick in the draft, I had like a tier 5 dragon, which I thought could put in some work under the right matchups, but people really didn't like that dragon for some reason. So, you know, people in the call, including, you know, my boy KJ, was like, you should definitely upgrade your dragon somehow, some way. And not only that, I also needed a fairy because fairies were getting sniped way too early for my liking. I really thought that they would come back like late draft, like in the rounds 5 through 7 range. But they were getting taken off the board like 3 and 4, so I was just like, huh, weird. So we ended up getting Dragalge and Alcrem. So let's talk about Alcrem first, because that was the fairy type that I ended up with, despite being sniped. You know, I was looking for Rabombi and Slurpuff because they were fairy types that gave me webs. Got neither of those. They were picked up way too early. Unfortunate, I know. I never thought I would sit here and tell y'all that I got sniped, but hey, I did. It happened. But what Alcrem does for me, 110 special attack, don't sleep on that. 121 Spadef, plus Assault Vest. You can just click all types of buttons, things like that. But my favorite set to run, to be honest with you, is it's Calm Mind, Acid Armored, Draining Kiss, Stored Power, which is really good. You can take out Draining Kiss and put Recover on to make sure that if you for sure know that a Dark type is not coming that week, so you can just click Stored Power freely. But if the Dark type does come, it's always nice to have Draining Kiss as that option. I mean, it's 50 base power, but it gives you health back in the process. It has 2 very good abilities. It's like Healer and and Aroma Veil. Very, very, very good depending on the week by week. Yeah, I'll creme. The cake is very thick. Very thick. I mean, it kind of makes sense why al creme would be thick. Like it's a cake and it got a lot of layers and stuff. That's another topic for another day. Dragalge here. So if you're a subscriber on the channel, which by the way, if you're not a subscriber on the channel, there's a red button down below. It says subscribe. You can click on it. It gives me the sub. I'd really appreciate that. There's also a like button with the thumbs up a little bit on the side of it as well. Really appreciate that as well. Dragalge here has the adaptability. That kind of rhymes. But listen, if you know me, if you're a subscriber on the channel, you already know my boy Crawdaunt has adaptability. If you've seen FPE Takeover, you know Mega Beedrill gets adaptability. Like, these two mons hit like a truck. But they're also physical attackers, so they don't really appreciate like incoming Will-O-Wisps from things. So Dragalge here doesn't mind that because it's actually a special attacker at a 97 special attack, 123 SPDF base. So it's bulky, more bulky on the SPDF side than al creme. So again, another one of those assault vest users for sure, right? Adaptability gives me the 2x boost to stab. Poison Dragon for a special attacker is crazy. Like, adaptability Dracos are going to do massive damage, especially if I'm holding specs. Sludge Wave is gonna do massive damage especially if I hold specs. It also got Flip Turn in the Isle of Armor, so if I need momentum, I can just Flip Turn out, which is really good. I don't get adaptability boost on that, but it's really just a move there for pivoting. Dragalge, like I said, man, it's adaptability, it's a dragon. I needed that. I don't know what else to tell you. The dragon I had before was Dragonair at tier 5. A lot of people didn't really like that dragon. They didn't respect what I was gonna do with it. So I was just like, alright, well, I have 20 extra free points. I can just move some stuff around and upgrade my dragon. So upgrading from Dragonair to Dragalge is really, really good on paper. It makes it so that way people need to prep more for my dragon more than my baby dragon. But yeah, we're gonna go to the last two free picks really quickly. To fill out the Dragon Fairy Steel core, we have Magneton. Now Magneton is an electric type, gives me stab volt switch. So we have a volt turn core of Mag, Uxie, and Rillaboom, which is really, really nice. Mag at 120 special attack. Those volt switches will hurt if you don't have a ground type. A Violite, it's an Eviolite mon. A lot better Eviolite mon than my next pick over to the right. We'll talk about Chew later. 95 defense, 70 SPDF with Eviolite boosts. Very, very nice. It can magnet pull, just like Big Bro Zone. It can magnet pull. So if if I ever end up facing Corviknight or Skarmory, I can just trap that and click Thunderbolt. Pretty much, take that, get rid of that. Yeah. So initially, Magneton was Togedemaru because some other people apparently told me they wanted Magneton, and I was just like, all right, well, I was looking at Togedemaru anyway because for some reason it gets Wish on top of like Spiky Shield and Nuzzle to be annoying, right? Believe it or not, Nuzzle is 100% accuracy, whereas like T-Wave can actually miss because it's 90% nowadays. So having Nuzzle was really cool, but then like but then again, like, it made me like really passive. So when I saw Magneton wasn't picked up and somebody was capping, I was just like, alright, I'm gonna take Mag then. Unfortunately, I don't get my second Wish support. Now I have to rely on Wish through Audino. So, but what I lack in recovery, I make up for in more offensive presence, particularly on the special side, for sure. Needed a Volt Switcher, so there you go. Magneton at tier 4 with my points, and then this tier 4, the last tier 4 is Sneasel. So Dark and Ice is very hard to switch into. I know it's only a Babymon to Weavile now, but 95 attack with 115 speed, it's still very fast. So no longer do I need Hawlucha to be my speed demon. I can be like, you know, I have, you know, someone in the same speed tier as Hawlucha with Weavile. Like I said, Magneton's gonna be the Violet user, so the items that I would be putting on Sneasel most likely are like things like Life Orb to click buttons, Banded Ice Shard is crazy, Banded Triple Axle when it lands is crazy, Icicle Crash flinching, Knock, right? Or even like if I'm worried about hazards one week, I can just throw on Boots. It's a very good Boots user, right? So the thing is that like I had Zoroark instead of Sneasel initially, but I did not get the fairy type that I wanted to disguise Zoroark. So the idea was if I were to get Comfy at tier 4, then I would get Zoroark, then I would like disguise my Zoroark as a Comfy and then click Flamethrower, and then the Steel type would go down. But that got sniped as well. So 3 fairy types got sniped for me. So I didn't see a purpose in Zoroark disguising as any other member of my team anymore. So I was just like, I needed a dark type, I needed an ice type. Sneasel's at tier 4 as well, so I'm gonna just downgrade the Zoroark to get my better dragon. But Sneasel still puts in a lot of work. I saw it do some work in NDL playoffs. So it's a mon, like, I'm a big Weavile guy. I love Weavile. So I'm gonna try out Baby Weave with Sneeze. Achoo. Bless. Alright, I'm gonna switch over to the summary. So this is what my team looks like. This is your Filipino Ferrothorn's full roster with stats, right? So as I didn't mention before, if I missed any stats, I'm gonna go over them really quickly. Rillaboom 125 attack, Banded Grassy Glide hits like a truck, right? Hawlucha 118 speed with Unburden, way too fast for my liking. Nidoking, Life Orb, Sheer Force, you can look at the stats right there. Uxie, I already talked about the defense of the Spadef. 95 speed is actually pretty decent, so I can get some faster U-turns off with than Rillaboom actually, believe it or not. Jellicent, 100 HP, 105 Spadef, 85 special attack. So that thing's really fat. It helps out our tier 4 Colossal as well. Colossal actually is 80 attack and special attack, so I could be mixed. If I really wanted to. 120 defense with 110 HP, 90 Spadef, respectable stats. That 30, we talked about the 30 speed can turn into +6 speed if I run the Steam Engine ability. Tier 5 Audino, 103 HP, 86 of both defenses for our Wishmon, our Cleric as well. I believe Uxie is also another Cleric in Aromatherapy. I could be wrong on that. Oh, I know Alcrem gets Aromatherapy as well, but Audino is our Heal Beller and our Wisher. Dragalge, we talked about the adaptability, Dracos and Sludge Waves at 95 special attack. Modest, crazy. Hits like a truck. Like I said, I've used Crawdon and Mega Beedrill that also get adaptability. So this is our third adaptability mon right here on the channel. Alcrem, we talked about how thick layers of cake are, whatever. Magneton is probably our Violet user if it does come, as Sneasel would like to prefer to hold other items such as Boots, Life Orb, Choice Band. Right? That's the team, man. I think the only problem I think the only problem with this team, honestly, is just a matter of, you know, people like even spectators were like, you know, I don't think Hawlucha's gonna be kill leader. It's projected to be Hawlucha being a kill leader, but don't be surprised if Nidoking becomes the kill leader for this team. And I could see why. It's very hard to switch into Nidoking. It gets crazy good coverage. Life Orb, Sheer Force, things die. I don't know what else to say. I lose to this thing a lot. I lose to Nidos like a lot. Even to Nidoqueen, I struggled against Nidoqueen in BL Finals. So having Nidoking on our side now is very nice. Yeah, that's the team. I play my week 1 opponent in like 2 hours, but you guys will see that vid like Tuesday. So yeah, until Tuesday, it's been your boy Eli the Rebel. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.